Então, Verônica é membro da equipe de desenvolvimento do GRASS e atua no comitê, como presidente do comitê de direção do projeto desde 2021. Atualmente, ela é pesquisadora visitante do Centro Geospatial Analytics, Carolina do Norte, da Universidade de Carolina do Norte. Ela tem doutorado em Biologia e mestrado em Sensoriamento Remoto e Aplicativos em GIS. Está de volta à Argentina e está trabalhando como pesquisadora do CONICET, como professora do Instituto Gulick, CONAI-UNC. A sua pesquisa ela está se concentrando na descoberta de fatores ambientais de surtos e distribuição de doenças transmitidas por vetores por meio de análise e modelagem de dados de observação da Terra. Bom proveito.
Muchas gracias. Okay. Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here, and thank you for coming to FOSS4G in Belém. Thanks for the introduction, for the double introduction. I will also do my own. So the title of this talk is From Field Biology to GRASS GIS Board, and my idea was to reflect a little bit on this journey of mine, and if we can get some elements there that we can replicate to grow and nurture a new generation of contributors, especially for Latin America. So again, this is me. I'm a researcher at Gulick Institute in the Argentinian Space Agency. I am a biologist. I did a PhD in biology and then also a MSc in spatial information applications. My research is focused in remote sensing and GIS applications for disease ecology. I am a member of the GRASS GIS dev team, and currently I serve as a project chair. And on a personal side, I am a very curious person. I like learning new things, and especially like geeky and tech things. And I really like mate, so if someone is having mate here, please share. And beer, especially not together, okay? Now, what is GRASS? Not what you think about. Not that grass. Not that grass either. It's this one. It's the one that Gilberto shared in the first slide of his. We are talking here about GRASS GIS. It's a geospatial processing engine. It has different interfaces. It comes with a command line interface, a graphical user interface, Python, C, and R APIs. So it's a matter of taste. You can use the power of GRASS GIS however you like. If you want to know more about GRASS GIS, please come to my talk later this afternoon on State of GRASS GIS. So, let's go to the core of it. How did I go from these kind of things in the field, wearing masks, dressing like astronauts, processing mice, like that, like that, to be sitting in tables with computers full of geek people discussing continuous integration and that kind of things, or wearing all of us the same t-shirt. So it is a story of personal curiosity and personal motivation, of course, but also a lot of beer. I told you. So it all started when I finished my PhD in 2012. I was jobless. Well, that's Argentina, you know. It happens many times. And then the tooth fairy, let's call it like that, came and offered, well, Vero, you could do an MSc, and you also get to go to Italy for 6 months. I was like, okay, Italy, 6 months. Okay, let's do an MSc and write yet another thesis, why not? the third one. And so eventually I went to the Argentinian Space Agency and started my MSc there. And I was searching for places to do the internship in Italy. And that was when I recall that a colleague of mine, a former colleague of mine from undergraduate times, had told me about GRASS GIS. She did an internship in Italy. She met Marcus Nedler there, and I was like, yeah, Vero, there's this GRASS GIS, it's open source. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I was kind of tired during all my education of taking GIS courses or remote sensing courses, and the first class was just how to crack Esri code. And so, well, this is not really good, no? And I was already using R for my statistical analysis, and I was missing an open source alternative for cracking the other one code, right? And I had this internal motivation to switch to open source. And that's how I ended up in this place for 6 months. That's San Michele al Adige. I was working here in FEM, where Luca works as well. And so I did an internship there, and I was studying and asking questions. I was really bothering, learning a lot, reading a lot, and of course, having a lot of pizza and beer again. So you can see a very, well, I hope you can recognize Luca there, for example, or there. There are very young versions of ourselves in those pictures. And so I had the opportunity there of meeting these power users and this amazing group of developers there that was willing to help me with whatever idea I had or whatever question I had. And they were always willing to go out for beers. And so I really loved what I was learning, the software I was learning and the capabilities it has and whatever it allowed me to do. But I was really hooked by the community behind the project. And so back to Argentina after the MSc, after the internship, I was like, I felt this desire to give back. And the only thing that I could think of at that time was, okay, if there was any email with a question that I was able to answer, I was like super quick in trying to answer it, because in my mind, that was like, okay, if I do this, the developers will have time to do their stuff that right now I cannot do. So I was like appearing in the mailing list quite a bit, quite frequently. And then for the MSc thesis, I used that chance to learn new modules that at that time were under development. So I had like very fluent and continuous communication with Turen that was developing the temporal framework, and with Luca as well. Like, Luca, I need this tool. Okay. Next week, I had a tool to plot time series in GRASS. So that was really cool. And then when I finished the thesis, there were no documentation, so how to use all those modules together. And then I wrote a wiki page, so with everything I did. And that wiki page has been accessed 187,000 times. Like, that's more citations than any paper I would ever write in my life. So then I finished the MSc. Yeah, shit happens. Was jobless again, why not? But these guys in Italy hired me for a couple of months, and so I went back there. So more GRASS, more beers, my first FOSS4G there, and I was day after day more involved with the software and the project and the community. But happiness ended. I went back to Argentina, jobless again. And I started doing freelance contracts, and I was hired this was like, for me, was huge because I was hired to teach GRASS and to develop workflows with GRASS to process Earth observation data. And after that, in the end, I found a position in Netherlands, and I took my GRASS GIS toolkit with me, of course, and you know, Netherlands, there's a lot of beer in Netherlands. It's close to Belgium as well, so yeah, so that's me in Netherlands. And with time passing, I was feeling now this desire to fix. So I was kind of evolving in my willingness to contribute and to give back. And so I was checking manual pages and, there's a typo here, there's an example missing. Okay, let's try to fix it. Okay, how? How do I do this? And so eventually, someone very kind taught me how to create patches and diffs and that kind of things. And I was just sending those patches to developers, like, hey, would you apply this, please, for me? This example is missing. Can you apply this patch? At some point, I became, I think, quite annoying with submitting patches to people, and they decided to grant me write permission in SVN. So, do you know what SVN is? It's like, before GitHub times, there was just one single copy of the code, and I was so afraid of committing anything there. I was, even a small typo fix, I was testing it thousands of times to see if I broke anything or not. And those are actually screenshots of my first commits to GRASS GIS because it was like a huge accomplishment for me. And then while in Netherlands, of course, I continued teaching GRASS courses, and we organized the very first OSGeo and GRASS GIS workshop in ITC. I organized a code sprint at home, well, that kind of things. And then in the middle, I went back to Argentina, this time with a job. I still have a job. But there was something missing, and it was like a personal challenge to me, and I still wanted to have a tool with my name on it. And so I learned some Python and found some mentoring, let's say. So Luca helped me, Vasek helped me, Stefan helped me, like different GRASS devs. And I wrote a module kind of based on a different one, so to have something to as a guide and so on. And so I finally contributed this module to download and import Landsat data into GRASS GIS. And at that time, more or less, there were the board elections, the PSC elections, and yeah, again, as I was appearing everywhere, at this point, someone nominated me, and this was our first PSC meeting, and basically, this is how I get to be the chair, because I was the one sending the email, hey guys, we were elected, shouldn't we meet? And then they were like, well, Vero, you are organizing stuff, so you should be the chair. Okay. And yeah, so that's it. It's not a very hierarchical organization, it's very horizontal, and basically we do stuff, and if anyone wants to do something, propose it and just do it. There's not much to it, not much more to it. And lately we have new elections, so we renew some of the members, and here are like outgoing and incoming members and the ones that remain, and we are all together there. So it's a very nice group of people, I really like it. Now, okay, reflection pause. I crossed this bridge, no? I put this bridge image because it reflects more or less what I felt it happened in my life, this crossing this bridge. And I recognized that I was privileged and lucky, but I did my part as well, no? But on this journey, I would like to reflect or to ask myself and you guys, like, is there a way to sort of backward engineer what this story or this journey and get some elements that could be helpful then to grow and nurture more contributors to OSGeo, for example? And so I will focus in Latin America just because I live in this region. I was born in this region. But I think maybe my analysis could be true also for other regions, okay? So just bear with me with some numbers. So there have been 2 Latin American international FOSS4G out of 18 so far. One was online, so I don't know if it counts or not. At least the team was from here. There are only 2 active OSGeo local chapters out of approximately 45 from the wiki page. I didn't count like within region chapters. And there are only 39 Latin American members out of 547 OSGeo chapter members. So that's 7%. And most of them are from, well, Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico. And then the year that we got more Latin American members was, oh my God, I cannot see, but it's 2018 with 11 members. This in 2017 was me. That was me. And not only that, but if we see the number of contributors from Latin America with merged pull request to the, let's say, largest OSGeo projects, it's very few, right? So GRASS has 3, I'm one of them, but OSGeo Live is 0, and Proj is 0, and this is GitHub metadata for the last 5 years, okay? So if you, for example, if one of you have contributed and you think you should be counted there, please add your location to your GitHub profile, because this is the type of analysis we can do with that kind of information. So why isn't there more Latin American presence in OSGeo projects, in open source for geospatial projects? So these are just questions, so I'm not doing like an exhaustive cost analysis, let's say. These are just my own questions, as a disclaimer. Is it only the language barrier? Even after all the tools that we have for translation? Is it that there are a lower percentage of people that graduate from higher education? Is it that people or the people that graduate actually move to the north in search of better economic situation, more security, and so on? Are we historically used to only receive manufactured products instead of building them, as in colonial times? Are we simply too far, and it is too expensive to reach most of the events that happen in the north? I think there might be, or there sure is more to it, and it's a mixture of all of it, and maybe more. But this is just a call for reflection, because this happens not only in Latin America, but in many other regions of the world. So how do we grow then and nurture a new generation of contributors, especially to OSGeo? I must tell that some GRASS developers are going this way. So the traditional way, let's say, maybe in 15, 20 years we have a couple more of GRASS developers. But something that was there for me in this journey that I just shared was mentoring. So I always have someone willing to hand a beer. There was always someone willing to help and answer my questions and answer the most basic questions, like, no, wait, you are going like, this is too high. Let's go to the basics. As Gilberto was saying, no? Read the basics, okay. No, just please tell me the basics. So this was something key for me in this journey. And it's this thing of going one person at a time. Like, some people will learn or will dare to ask a question only if we are in small groups, let's say, and not in like big crowds, no? So I would pledge for more regional and more local solutions, like fostering South-South solutions among individuals and among companies as well, to grow also ecosystems of geospatial in this area that then can relate or exchange or connect with other companies, with bigger companies. I would also pledge OSGeo to organize and fund more smaller events, regional, local, hands-on events, like maybe just an afternoon or something like that, smaller groups to foster bonds and foster inclusion. Teach more workshops and courses with materials in Spanish or Portuguese or local languages for that matter. And this is a call for all of us to inspire others to leave their comfort zone, stop only using the software and start doing things. It's just a matter of standing up and doing it. You will be welcome. Because the only thing that is needed, it's you. Okay? It's you, me. All of us, okay? And where to start? It's very simple. So this is especially for the younger contributors in the room and the volunteers and all. You already have this drive to volunteer, to do things. So where to start contributing to open source projects? It's very easy. Just, let's say, start with translations. You have a lot of tools now, IA tools now to start with. So you just go to weblate.osgeo.org, find the project that you like the most, and start translating. You even have a glossary there that you could use. Start small, fix typos, for example. Okay? Now, most documentation from different projects have this link or this button, like edit on GitHub. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to set up anything. You just click there, fix the typo, and commit. It's like 3 or 4 buttons, and that's it. And that helps. That is welcome. So it's not that we, on the project side, we value that kind of things. We value them a lot. So it's a matter of just stepping up and doing it. If you discover a bug, just report it. If you dare try to fix it, send a diff to a different developer to apply it if you don't dare. If docs are missing, add them, and so on. If there's a new feature, test it and report back. We need your feedback. If you want to get started with code, projects for sure, I'm giving GRASS examples because that's what I know, but projects will have guidelines on how to set up your environment for different operational systems And so you can find those guidelines, set up your environment, and then go to the repositories and search for good first issues. Those are the issues marked as the easiest one, let's say, and you can start there. Again, even you can fix them online. Some of them can be fixed online. Also, there are paid opportunities if you want to go with code contributions. And one of them is Google Summer of Code. And I must say there is very, very, if none, representation of Latin America, at least in OSGeo projects. And guys, they pay in dollars, so they are to do that. I mean, you just find a project, an idea that you're interested in, and then you get in. You have 3 months to work on your abilities to code, to learn to communicate with developers, to work asynchronously. You will learn GitHub and so on. So it's a very good experience, and projects really like that. You will get mentoring, and the project will get probably a new feature or fixes or so on. If you are interested, go to the GRASS talk this afternoon. I will tell you about the 3 Google Summer of Code projects that we had this year. GRASS GIS also has a GRASS student grant program. It's smaller projects, let's say, but we used the donations that some of you provide to the project to give it back to the community in the form of student grants. So also consider donating to open source projects, because then the money goes back to you. And also within GRASS, we have this mentoring program that you can subscribe to. This is not paid, but it's developers' time is paid for you. So you can subscribe if you're interested in learning something specific about GRASS or using some GRASS tool in your workflow, and you will get free mentoring to solve your problem, let's say. This is currently funded by NSF. If there's not enough teaching material or tutorials, you can also create them. Nowadays with Quarto, it's like super easy to contribute. It's just Markdown basically. And you only need to kind of copy an example of tutorial and just modify it. It's really simple. Or, let's say you are not interested in code, but you are great with design, you are great with communication. We need you. You can help communities, you can help projects with stickers design, website design, posting blog posts, and that kind of things. We also need you guys, because this was me trying to design some t-shirts and it was just putting the logo there, and it was like terrible. So yeah, there are many ways you can contribute. Please talk to us. And if you need new features, you can propose it. If you have an idea, you can propose it. Maybe someone picks it up, or maybe even yourself can start doing it. And then you get some mentoring, because this feature is something interesting for someone else. So communicate your needs and your ideas too. And considering funding it, okay? You will see that all projects also have a link to donate or to fund or to become a contributor in terms of financial support. So just support your software. I mean, otherwise you would be either cracking the software or paying huge licenses. So consider supporting. I mean, in GRASS we have 2 monthly contributors of $10 each. but well, it's $120 a year each, so it's $240. Well, a quarter of a student grant, okay? So it's not that much. And as I said, every contribution counts, and anyone willing to learn and do things is always welcome. So see, for example, this guy, there was an issue saying, hey, there are some links broken. And someone else said, I want to work on this, I want to fix this. Yeah, sure, we assigned it to him, and then he fixed it. And yeah, it might be trivial, but now the links work. They didn't. So it's as easy as that. And once you start, then, well, maybe you continue. So just find your community and get involved. Find people that is willing to meet for an end of beer call, no matter time differences, and just jump in. You will be welcome. And thank you.